Hi and welcome to my channel. This is inspired by Ashleigh Henson. So hello people, I'm just going to show you how to do a lion. So you'll need a few things for this video. Of course you'll need a white, I use DFX. Also the black as well. I'm using a Superstar gold with glitter. And of course a brown for the mane. Later on I'll show you something else as well, but for now we have a filbert brush that I use for the mane, sponges of course, and a couple of liner brushes. So this is a 2, and for the thicker lines I'm using a Luo Canal number 5, as you can see there, number 5. Okay, so I'm doing the ears. I'm kind of making a mask sort of shape here. So what I'm going to do is get a sponge and I'm going to draw out the spaces. Now, while using Superstar, it can get gloopy, so it takes me a little while just to get enough consistency on there. Now with this design, you don't need to add extra glitter at the end unless you really want to, because there is glitter in the Superstar already. Oh, I dropped it on the floor. Oopsie! Things happen. Okay. I've also got hair in the sponge. Oops. Alright, I'm ready. So as I said, I'm going to make an ear. Now when I make it, I just turn it round, but I'm going to leave a gap. Okay, so see, I've left a gap. Again, on the other side, doesn't have to be neat at this stage, because you're going to do line work. Okay, as I said, I've left a gap that side too. Now you can use a filbert brush if you want to, but if you're doing on the job, it's just quick and easy just to grab a sponge and do it, because it doesn't have to be neat at this stage. So I'm filling the other side in, leaving a little room there on the nose. I'm not going to paint the underside of the nose, and I'm also leaving room at the muzzle area. So all the way down to the lips there, to the edge of the lips. I'm just making sure it's all consistent, that I've got enough paint on here. Just checking, there's a few little gaps around. Now I'm going over the eyes, not like a traditional line. I am going to cover the eyes in the gold as well. Now if you struggle with kids with this, you can leave this part out, but it's always nice to have the gold under the eyes as well. So it's quite easy and simple to do. Okay, I'm just checking the consistency, because Superstar, you just need a little bit more work. See how shiny it is already? Really shiny and pretty. Okay, so now I am using a white, just activating it with a bit of water, using the same sponge just on the back. Okay, so I'm going to use them little gaps that I left, and I'm going to add the white in there. There you go, see, kind of like a little semicircle sort of shape. Comes down slightly under the eyelid there. Okay, so I'm just blending it a little bit there around the eye, just slightly on the eyelid, just the top of the eyelid. Just making sure it's nice and blended with the Superstar Gold. Just adding a bit more, and I'm now going to do the muzzle. Now when you do a muzzle for a lion, it needs to extend out slightly away from your nose. It's kind of like a big moustache. I'm just twisting the sponge a little bit just to make a round sort of shape. See, I've extended it out. Okay, and I'm also doing the bottom of the chin in a kind of triangle sort of shape down there. Just making sure I've got the lips as well. You see, I've left the nose. That is important for later. Just making sure it's nice and even on each side, and just adding a little extra of white in the ears there. Now that's pretty much it for the base for the gold and the white. I won't be using that again unless I need to. I might need to use it later for blending, so just put it to one side. Now I'm going to use a brown DFX, chocolate brown, activating it with water, and I'm going to do the mane. Now this doesn't have to be too neat because you're going to outline it and it's supposed to be hair. So what I'm going to do is a dome sort of end shape using my filbert brush here, and I'm bringing it down onto the nose, making it wispy and the ends, just so it looks like hair. Depending on how big your forehead is, you can do it up higher or lower, depending on the size of the face you're working on. So I'm bringing it down even more to the nose there to make a little flick like a quiff. Now what I'm going to do is go around the ears that I've done already, and I'm kind of doing it stippled way. So it doesn't have to be neat, it's supposed to be hair, so I'm just kind of zigzagging the brush up and down, making wispy bits as I go, up until the eye. Just so you can see it, I'm going to move my hand in a second. And there you go. So wispy bits. Like that. I'm going to do the other side. So as you can see, I'm leaving little wispy bits around, following the ear down, just until the eye at the moment. Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to add brown in a zigzag sort of motion down the face towards the muzzle that I've done, and then I'm just adding little extra wispy bits in as well. It doesn't have to be neat, like I said, at the moment. Just making sure it's even. And I've put too much brown on one side, that doesn't matter. I'm going to use a sponge and do it out in a minute. Just going over this one again, just to make sure I've got enough. Slightly up over the muzzle. So I'm just checking for consistency. So I'm just blending out, using my sponge with whatever's left on the sponge, with the gold, and just blending it into the face. Making sure it's even on both sides. There we go. So just making sure it's nice and even. Just adding a few little bits here and there. Alright. So that is the base of yours without any line work. So what I'm going to do now is some line work, just loading my brush up. And I'm going to make the ear. So doing the top of the ear where the mane is, the brown, and then I'm going in a little bit where the white is, and then joining up into like a triangle and then bringing it down to my face. Okay, as you can see there. So it now looks like an ear. Now I'm going to do the other side. Sorry, my hand's in the way. It's very difficult when you're left-handed. There you go, and the other side. Now I'm going to do the mane. So I'm going to follow that curve down onto the nose, making zigzag sort of hair shapes. So I'm following the brown all the way, just to make sure that I've got a sort of mane sort of shape quiff. Sorry, my hand's in the way again. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm zigzagging, following the brown that I've done over the top of the ear. So just following that brown down towards the eye in a few zigzaggy motions. Now I'm going to do the other side. You probably see it better this time. So following it round, using the brown that I used earlier in a zigzaggy motion to make it look like it's hair. Okay, so the next bit is the bottom edge. So this needs 2 layers. So you need one for the mane and one for the outside of the gold as well. So zigzaggy motions, following it both the other side. So it looks like that. Now I'm going to do the other side. Up and down, zigzaggy motions, flicks now and again if you really want to. If you're really quick, you can do this within a couple of minutes on the job. So I'm doing the second one, kind of following the same line I just did, like that. There we go. Now I'm going to go up the muzzle just to outline that. I'm then going to bring that down and cut it where the lips meet. Now I'm going to do a line down from the nose. Now you can, for quickness, do this in black, the nose as well, but I change the colour later. So what I'm doing now is I'm painting the top of the lip and I'm extending it down and out. I'm also painting a little bit of the bottom lip, but not all of it, just a little bit. So about half of it is painted, not all of it. Just neatening it up, making sure that the triangle is the same on both sides. And the line up is nice and thick. There we go. So making sure it's nice and even on both sides. And now drawing the dots. So big dots down to small. I'm doing 4. It depends on how long the nose is away, so you can do 3 lines or even 4 lines. It's up to you. Okay. So I decided to do a pink nose instead of a black one. So I'm using magenta colour from DFX, And I'm only painting the bottom of my nose. I'm not painting the whole of it, just the bottom nostrils. I'm also extending it out, so it's slightly bigger than my nose as well. This is so much easier on children. There we go. Just making sure it's nice and even on each side, and that I've painted underneath as well. You can always lift the kids' heads up or ask them to look up, and then you can get the nose. That's the nose. Back to black. But this time I'm going to use a smaller brush. So I'm just locating it. And I'm just reloading the black. You can't see our ear shot. There we go. Got it. Found it. Using the black. There we are. So what I'm going to do now is an optional extra, especially with kids, is to outline the eyes. It looks good though, so if they can sit still, it just makes the line come together. I'm just extending my eye out and just making it a bit longer. A few wispy bits at the end of my eyes here to make lashes. Now doing the other side. Now I'm going quite close to my eye. With kiddies, you don't need to. You can make it a bit higher up if you want to, just as long as they don't blink. Making little wispy bits, extending it out, making sure it's even with the other side. Now I'm going to do the underneath. Again, depending on the child that you are doing, you might not need to do this part. Just making sure it's even and neat. Adding a few little extra lines there on the edges. There we go. I wasn't happy with that eye, so I kept going over it. Okay, so I'm now drawing whiskers, really long ones. So extending over the brown mane in a curve motion. So I'm doing 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually extending them even longer, just to really make sure they're popping. See, there we go. Now you can leave it at that if you want to, but I always like details. So I'm outlining my nose. All the way around and joining it up with the line to the lip. Just making sure it's nice and even. And again, like I said, this is an optional. Actually, you don't have to line the nose up, but it just looks more neat and professional. Okay, oh, I forgot about the muzzle on the bottom. Little chin. So I'm going to do the chin I think. Oh no, I forgot completely. Right, so I need to do the line underneath. I'll come back to the chin. Line underneath the eyes. Now, lines do have this, so you can actually look that up. They actually do have a white line underneath. So if you don't want to do the black, you can just do the white line underneath. I'm just highlighting the whiskers there, just to make sure they really pop out. See, I remembered now. So you can do this earlier. I just forgot completely. So I'm just adding little triangles, wispy triangles to make the chin. There you go. So that is pretty much the lion. I'm just adding a few extra little bits just to really make sure this is a really good design. But it is pretty much done at this moment. I'm just adding little extras, so little lines, just to make the eyes pop. Little lines in the ears, just to accentuate the ears. So I'm making my nose look wider, because of course lion noses are wider. So I'm adding little zigzags from the corner of the eye down to the nose there. So it makes my nose look wider. There we go. That is pretty much it. I'm just going to add a few highlights just to the mane and any extra areas that I want. This is only if you have time. You don't need to add it if you don't want to. But as you can see, it really now makes the line come together. Just done it all around the mane that I've done already. Like I said, this is pretty much copied from Ashleigh Henson. If you want to see her normal one, just look her up on YouTube. That's where I got it from. There you go. I'm just adding a few little highlights to the nose there. And we are finished. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. It wasn't too faffy for you. And speak to you soon. Rawr. Bye. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed watching my tutorial. Sorry if it was a bit hacky, but this is the result. So thank you very much, and I hope you follow my YouTube channel and look at me from Danny's Face Designs on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Bye guys, thank you.